We'll be using groups within the tenure file in Canvas to coordinate and communicate with the committee members as a whole. And this is to keep it out of email and also kind of keep it all in the same place. So groups within Canvas, no one who is not enrolled in the group can see anything within that group. So when the Board of Trustees is added to the course as students, they will not be added to the group. So tenure work can continue while the board is reviewing, but within that group. So as a chair, to find the group, you'll go to People on the course menu and then click on the Committee tab. This will already be created for you. And instead of example, it will have the last name of your probationer listed here. And then on the right-hand side, you'll just click on the three little dots and visit group homepage. All right, so the homepage is just recent activity. And then basically what you'll want to do is decide how you want to use this group for the tenure committee. So there are a number of options, and I've put it on a page right here, how we'll use this group for tenure committee. And I've listed out some options that you can use. You could use all of them, you could use one or two of them. It's really up to you and how you want to do it. So go ahead and check that out and then edit it so that it is what you want and how you will use this course. So the first is announcements. You can use announcements. I've given an example here of, a meeting minutes review. I've attached the meeting minutes, and then the committee members would reply to this announcement to approve, or maybe, review and give feedback and whatnot. The one thing to remember about announcements is that there is no notification that goes out about them. So you would need to put the announcement here, and then go to the inbox and let people know that it was there, which is quite unfortunate for Canvas to not do that. All right, so the next is pages. Ways you can use pages, like I said, this will just be here so they will know how to use the group. And then the other option you could do is you could add a page or have anyone. The great thing about groups is that anyone in the tenure committee can create any of these. So they can create announcements, they can create pages, they can create discussions, and so forth. So if I was doing review of meeting minutes here, I could say, hey, review the meeting minutes and add comments below if anything should be changed. So then I'll hit enter, and then what I can do is I can go over to files and I can take that meeting minutes document, or I can upload a new file and drop it in here, and then right below it I can put comments. And then any member can also edit this page. So when I save it, any member can come in then and edit the page and read the document. One great thing you could do here is you could click on the link and then click on the link icon, and you can actually auto open in preview. And then what that does is they don't have to download it or preview it for themselves. It just automatically opens. They can read it, and then they can add their comments by editing the page. So that's one way to use pages. The people just gives you a list of who's in the group, and then you as the teacher. And then under discussions, like I mentioned, anyone can create discussions. The one that will come automatically is called committee discussion, and this just has a basic boilerplate about how to create discussion boards and how to use discussion boards, but anyone can create them. So like we did on an announcement, if you wanted to use discussions instead as that, review, could do meeting minutes review. You can drop in the file here, click on it, and you can do the auto open as well. And then after reading the minutes, leave your comments about anything that should be changed, or maybe it's approve them. And you could also attach it, but this makes it easier to read and not have to download anything, which is preferable for Tenure. And then I like to allow threaded replies, and you could allow liking as well, and then save and publish. And there it is. So they can see, read it, and then they come down here and they say, okay, I think this should be changed, and they can leave their comment as a reply. And then everyone can see it, and you can reply to each other and have like an asynchronous conversation. The next is the most important to use. So if you don't use anything else in this group, files is what you're going to use solely. So basically, this gives you a files area within the group itself. And so this is not connected at all to the overall files in the course. And so anyone on the committee can then upload their documents to this file area and then let you know that it's there so that you can then, as the chair, download it and upload it into the module where it should go if it's the final version. And then briefly, conferences is similar to Zoom and Teams in that you can have a virtual live session. It's hosted by Big Blue Button, but it's within the group. And then collaborations is a tool that uses Google Docs to collaborate on documents, but everyone would need a Google account to log in. And so we discourage this because that would take the Tenure files outside of this course. And finally, an easy way to alert people is by going to the inbox. So if you click on this inbox right here, you'll get the inbox, and you can create a new message right here. And you can select the course specifically. So I'm going to search for the example Tenure file right here. And then in the to area, you can actually choose student groups, and then that specific committee, the whole committee, and then you can name it, review meeting minutes, and anyone in the group will be able to do that. And if you want to send it individual to each person so that other people don't know that you've also sent it to them, you can do that. But if you want it to be kind of like a group chain where everyone can see everyone's replies, you could do that. And then just alert them where to go within the shell within the group, and then send. And then any replies would come in here directly into your Canvas inbox. Although if you have this set up from your settings to go to your email, you would see it there as well. So that is why you'll want to keep it short and sweet and don't include any content specifically in it. So that is how to use a group for you as a chair.